Hey guys, welcome back to another video. My name is Keara if you're new here, and today I have a little chat. I actually want to talk to you guys about how this movie inspired this whole video. So, walk with me. Y'all already know the drill. Walk with me. So I think like a couple weeks ago, I was watching The Edge of Tomorrow on Netflix with Tom Cruise. He stars in it. I don't know the rest of the cast. I don't be knowing these actors' names. If you show me a face, I'll probably know. But I was watching The Edge of Tomorrow, and in the movie, so basically in the movie, Tom Cruise, he's like the campaign face of a war. Like they're going at war with aliens, right? And so he's like the face of the campaign of advocating for soldiers to go fight with the new technology they have. So he gets called into the office from the general, and the general basically tell him like, yeah, you gotta suit up and go out this war. And Tom Cruise is like, yeah, nah, y'all got me messed up. I just went on TV and advocated for y'all. And then the general was like, no, I said what I said, you're gonna do it. So he knocks him out. No, he didn't knock him out, but he got the people to get him, and I think he did got knocked out because he woke up on the ship with all the soldiers. So he got knocked out and deported to whatever shipment location, whatever base location where the soldiers are at. So he gets there, he tries to plead his case, and then quickly realizes that okay, this is not gonna happen. Like this is not gonna go well for me. After he does that, he just falls in line. The general introduces him to the squad. He straps up, he shoots up, he goes to war, and he dies. Like he fights the aliens, they go to war, he fights the aliens, and he dies. Then he wakes back up in the same place. So he's realizing that he's resetting the day. Like he'll go to work, he'll run through the whole thing. It starts from the time that he's on the ship. So he'll meet the officer. The officer shows him the people. Um, he walks through the whole nine, does the war, dies again, and then repeat the day. And mind you, I don't know if I mentioned that or if you caught it, but like Tom Cruise in this movie, he's not a soldier. He doesn't know how to fight. He doesn't know anything about combat. Like he's clueless. It's just not looking good for him right now, right? Um, so he keeps resetting the day. He keeps resetting the day until the average soldier is until he meets like the lead soldier, like she's like the campaign soldier, like who they're campaigning as, like she's like the face of the war, the face of um the leader of it, whatever, whoever they're advertising to like beat the bad guys, right? She beat them at the last war that they had, right? So he's resetting the day, resetting the day, resetting the day. I'm almost done with the story. And so he meets her and she tells him basically like, oh, you killed the alpha. So because you killed the alpha and then I guess whatever you killed the alpha, you have the power to reset the day and kill the enemy. So now they're collaborating with each other uh, on how to like attack and kill the enemy because she did it before. And they realize that, while resetting the day, that the enemy was intentionally setting them, creating a cycle for them to just be in a loop cycle until they get so tired out that they just quit. They don't do anything. They just quit. So like that's what they realized the strategy of the enemy was, just to tire them out, to exhaust them, to exhaust all the materials to keep them in the loop cycle. So the leader of the woman who's the leader of the fight of the soldiers and Tom Cruise, they link up. And so she's like, okay, I'm gonna train you so like you'll be able to fight these aliens. So basically he dies, he resets, the day. And like as they're going through this, he's realizing like, okay, we get killed here, so we have to avoid this. Like each time like he dies and resets the day, he's letting her know, okay, what they have to avoid, what they have to do to prevent from dying and getting to finding where the enemy is so they can kill him. So throughout this time, while they're like strategizing, doing trial and error with, trying to find the enemy, he gets better. He gets better to the point where like you don't recognize him. And at this point, like he's been doing this about 300, 500 times. They don't disclose how many times he did this, but he did this a tremendous amount of times, like to the point where he's like a pro. He's an amazing soldier. He's a soldier now because he's done it so much. He's strategic. He knows how to move and maneuver through the war because he's already seen what was coming. So he knows how to maneuver through everything, right? And so I say this to say this inspired me with content and like content creation. And it made me realize that repetition gives you your desired results. Repetition builds you into who you want to be. And repetition with your content helps you to learn how to create the content that you desire, the content that you want to put out, but that you may necessarily cannot put that out at the level that you're at right now, right? And I feel like a lot of times with people in content, they feel like, oh, because they put out content or they've been consistent, that they expect the reward or like followers or like a amount of likes. And basically, what this, what this movie taught me in respect to content is you constantly got to refine and practice, refine and practice, refine and practice, refine and practice. Learn how to talk to your audience and practice talking to them. Learn what they like and implement what they like. Learn how to storytell and then storytell to them. Learn what they value and then align with those values. Like just a constant cycle of trial and error and repetition. And not repetition of the same thing, but a repetition of trying new things. And I really feel like that is how your approach should be with content. Like you're constantly learning, you're constantly evolving, you constantly have to keep doing the thing and to even getting better at it. Even if you're at a point where you are good at it, constantly evolve yourself. Keep doing it. Keep working at it. Look at look at what's working and look at what's not working and then change it. That's literally what happened in the movie. And because of that, he was able to one, outsmart the enemy because the enemy wasn't expecting him to do that. And then two, beat the enemy, right? So I feel like that's your approach to social media. That's your approach to the algorithm. The enemy's the algorithm, however you want to say it. Um, but be repetitive. Like, don't just put out content and then be like, oh, be satisfied with that. Like, refine your content, see what's working, see what's not working. Look at your analytics. Talk to your audience. See what they like, see what they don't like. It's a constant cycle of repetitiveness. And I know in this video I'm repeating myself, but like I feel like I just need to drill in the point. Like repetitiveness creates your desired results. And you also have to be mindful of how you're sowing your time, how you're sowing, what you're sowing into your repetitiveness. If you're putting out mediocre, constantly, repeatedly putting out mediocre content, you're going to get mediocre results. If you're constantly putting out, you know, content that doesn't align that doesn't align with your desired audience, you're not going to attract your desired audience. Be mindful of what you're sowing into when it comes to creating content. Because if you keep doing the same thing and thinking you doing the same thing is going to get you the desired results, even in your personal life, like with just organization or just finding inspiration. You can't rely on the same things that you've been doing to get you to where you want to be. And this is in life and in content creation. Now, if you have a formula for things that works That's different. But like if you're not managing your time or planning out your content and doing research and you're constantly sowing into that behavior, it's going to produce bad content. And that means bad content doesn't generate leads. No leads means no business. You understand what I'm saying? So be mindful of what you're sowing into. Like, yes, being repetitive is key, but also be mindful of what you're being repetitive of, what your repetitive is doing, if that makes sense. I hope it makes sense. Like, be mindful of the behavior that you're sowing into. Because whatever behavior that you're sowing into when it comes to around creating content, and for real, this is just a life lesson, is going to produce whatever you're sowing into. So, um, yeah, that's my thoughts. That's what that movie inspired. And it's so funny how like you can just get inspired by anything. But yeah, so with that, be mindful what you're sowing into. Constantly practice, be consistent, be repetitive, and don't just be repetitive and doing the same thing. But scan, see what's working, what's not, what you can do differently. Like look into that. So that's all I have for you guys. As always, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. It's my last video.